We'll be back from the break. It's exactly 8, actually just 1 minute to top of the hour, and it's still watching Smart Men's Business, your daily Kickstarter. I'm Anju Barije with Master Consumer this morning as we're driving your business. And of course, right about now, as we're heading straight into our business tips and quotes, don't forget the Markets on the Zabo platform, which have already, not yet, but they're about to open. They will be opening at exactly 8:15 a.m. Now, you could be asking yourself a question, what should I do to be a part of this? It's well simple. Start with 92 hashes, the USSD code for you there, and it will be available with a number of options where you will be able to buy government bonds and securities for as little as 15,000 Ugandan shillings. Now, the markets will be opening at 8:15 a.m., closing at 3:15 p.m., effective Monday up to Friday, except on the weekends and the public holidays when these markets can't be accessed. But despite the fact you have the rest of the days to capitalize and make yourself quite some huge profits, something which I believe is quite very key and influential when it comes to you as a trader, most especially if you have encountered trade deficits throughout the week. Now, Zabo made this a reality by offering this opportunity. Zabo simply says, my money, my future, and all East Africa tells you, do something new for yourself in the year 2023. Well, right about now, let's cross over and we observe our business tips and quotes for the day today. Success is not what you have, but it's simply who you are. You determine. And so, in other words, it is about substance. It's who you are. What do you create? What have you created around you? You know, you see, we are living in a generation where people, I mean, our definition of success definitely, of course, there are aspects which come with success, you know, like money. Money is just one of them. And you know, material and all these aspects, but it's way deeper than just that. It all comes back from a place of you living your purposeful life on earth, something which is I believe defines success. And so many times we spend our lives, our times chasing over what we call, let me say, money, but we rarely focus on following things that are actually going to attract the money. I mean, you will look for the medals. You know, if you look for the medals with, it's going to be hard for you to get them. Probably if medals get lost, if you had a piece of medals and they disappeared in the grass accidentally, or you're looking for lizard bread and it dropped somewhere in the room, and probably that room has grass, and you try to figure it, to look for it.
Get yourself hot.
Not even that, you may not get it. But if you get a magnet and put it around, it's going to be attracted and get to the magnet without you having to scratch the grass, which might even, you know, you might find snakes which might bite you from there. Yeah, so in other words, how wish we could have time and focus on things that attract the accompaniments, because at the end of the day, the value that you add to yourself, you know, the money that you have, I mean, the wealth that is really truly manifested is that thing you're doing to develop yourself as a person. You know, for example, get off some time, learn a skill, you know, and be really excellent with it. Don't be cliche. Don't be mediocre. At that, you have to be perfect.
I believe while I was still in school, we used to have home economics. The subjects, and we learned a lot.
I remember that.
We learned really a lot. We learned how to knit, how to, you know, for a lady, you need these things: how to knit, how to sew, I mean, how to make a bed.
Yeah.
I mean, how to peel. You know, we learned the basics of life. I mean, what else can you do as a woman if not know how to cook? Those are small things we as young people, mostly growing women, need to know. And you need, you know, long time, the days of our mothers in the 1960s, and you knew how to, you had to know how to knit.
How to knit, yeah.
To weave a basket. I mean, that is one of the responsibilities of what a bride was supposed to do in that period before, after marriage. As you're there in your honeymoon, you are weaving a basket. You are actually making, like they say, tambala. You have them in your house.
How do they call it in your language?
Still the same. And of course, these are things that, you know, it's quite amazing how you find a child doesn't know how to knit or make sew a button. A button, when it's off, they have to take it to the tailor. It's quite embarrassing, and you have to incur a cost of 1,000. Yet you can get a needle and thread and sew.
Absolutely true.
Easy. You know, in our language we have a saying that says, "Mukazi atatunga," like cannot develop a home.
Cannot develop a home.
Yeah. So
Okay.
definitely, if you do not know the basics of what a woman should do, of what you should do as a young lady, then definitely, how long will you keep throwing things once they
Some
are torn?
people to help you
No,
out.
the one that torn, like a button, the button is off and you've thrown the shirt. I mean, you can sew it. It's very easy. We have YouTube, actually. These things, I think we should even teach people how to sew and make
They should learn how to do these
weave.
things. Yes.
Weave baskets. Do you even know how to? Men don't know, but I know how to weave a basket. I can weave a basket. I can do a doormat.
Amazing. Yeah, so I think that is also important. But you see, the generation has also changed. Those days, okay, that was the thing anyway, which is okay. But with the new age, what people can call the new age, when we have this whole aspect of like IT coming into people on their mobile phones, most especially the youth, all the time. I mean, you can still add value to yourself. I mean, you can use that mobile phone to learn something. You can learn how to program an application. You can learn how to develop a website, you know, and really take your time. I love a song by Nas where he said, "I know I can, I want to be what I want to be if I work hard today." I mean, that song was quite very interesting, where he said that for you to, if you want to be successful, it takes a lot of practice. Okay, I don't want to rap because I may end up rapping just right about now. But anyway, practice. I mean, practice making it something very perfect in a way that you have to get into that thing. If you say that you want to be, okay, let me get back to your example of sewing. Yeah, you sewing clothes, I mean, you sewing baskets. Make sure that you do it to your best, that even you can do it when you're sleeping, when you're not conscious. That's what I mean. I mean, it comes in your blood to that extent that you don't even have to focus. And actually, that's what we call experience.
Yeah.
Experience is not from a place of you thinking that actually with experience you don't put in thought. It happens. It's like intuition. You just know that somehow, you know. It's like how a doctor can come and sees you struggling with a patient and he tells you, know what, just give that patient water. She will be okay. Yet for you've been struggling trying to look for this. Why? She's doing it from a place of experience. But why? Constant practice. And this has become her. But however, that sometimes experience doesn't have to come with years. Though there is knowledge which you'll never know unless you're at a certain age, by the way. That is true. I don't care how many books you read. There are things which will never make sense to you, not until you make a certain age. This one, I'm speaking from out of experience. There are things which I used to read lots of things way back. And you know, there's this moment where you read things and you get puffed up. You know, they say knowledge puffeth. You feel you know too much. You start to become proud. But yet you can't even carry an experience of what you know. But not until you reach a certain age, certain things start to actually make certain sense. and you try to reconcile with what you read, you know, and even what you read will start to make sense at a certain age. But however, still, experience may not really have to come because you're a certain age. You know, with knowledge, experience in knowledge is largely dependent. You know, knowledge reaches a point and it becomes revelation. You know, I know why I'm saying this. I'm trying to still to head straight to this point of success is who you are. I mean, once you acquaint yourself with knowledge, you know, you spend your time, you know, pursuing this thing. You, like if you're a programmer, you are thinking programming. You wake up eating you wake up breakfast. Even when you dream, you start to dream about programming. Now it has settled into your subconscious mind.
Right. It becomes you.
It becomes you. But that can even happen in a space of 1 year, depending on how you give yourself time. And in 1 year, you may have, because of your communion with this knowledge, you might be equivalent to a person with experience of 5 years or 10 years in a space of 1 year. Knowledge can redeem time. You see, but this comes about focus. You know, there's what they call focus. You cut off everything and you decide to focus on this one thing. Definitely success will locate you because you've attracted a magnet. You know, the things that really largely attract wealth. That's why people that get wealth when they don't have wisdom, when they don't have knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, it's a matter of time. You know, but wealth, genuine wealth, like is attracted to people that have wisdom, that have knowledge. You know, because I mean, you know how to use it. It's not going to kill you. You know, so when the man said success is not what you have, it's who you are. When you get to that mindset, by the way, you realize how things effortlessly start to come your way. You know, because you've now understood what really success is. I know we all need money. I'm not going to say that. I also want money. But the more you attract that substance that is going to call for money, the better. The more money is going to come to you, other than looking for money without having a magnet. You know, and that's what every person is doing. And you see, with this whole aspect, we've become so comfortable with even what we do, with the different jobs that we do, the careers. You feel so comfortable there. But you know, you've heard of a statement called like a guru. A guru. If you say I'm a media guru, I can say I'm a rap guru. A guru is somebody who's so into something that they are experienced, they know all these things. You know, how wish we transition just from having careers where we call earning a living, bread and all that, and we take it all the way to becoming gurus in what we do. Because ask yourself a point. For example, if you're operating a certain section or you are in a certain department in your company, imagine one day probably you left that company. Will you be able to demonstrate or manifest the work you've been doing in form of having your personal brand out there, your personal business in relation to what you were doing in that company? And the question is, it's not just about doing it out there, your personal business, but what is the distinction on that? You know, I think that is also something very key for you to really put into consideration. Well, that was it for our business tips and quotes. And definitely we had to prolong this conversation a little bit because there are quite lots of aspects which are which actually it was rotating around quite so many factors. That's why we had to prolong it for this while. Well, it's 13 minutes past 8. Right about now, let's take a look at what's trending on the social media. All right, now this is a Dr. Otile Yuji. Says Uganda NGO's exhibition has just shown us that most of us actually don't have the moral authority to put government to task and accountability. So that means NGOs are also not accountable. All right, see that this is at Neunje P. That is Neunje Patricia. To think that I once looked up to these NGO bosses makes me sick. Yeah. Makes her sick. Non-government organizations exhibition.
Well, this is
NGO Forum.
NGO Forum, and it says we have taken note of the ongoing Uganda NGO exhibition. As a sector that inspires to be transparent and publicly accountable, we are actively listening and documenting the numerous concerns. We commit to collectively discuss and address the concerns. Read the full statement here, and that says the Uganda National NGO Forum has taken note of the ongoing exhibition, a sector that is okay.
Actually, it's more like just got a copy from what was up there, and they put it down there.
Yes, of course.
Yes, yes. So that is you got an NGO exhibition in there, and now this NGO Forum called ADA, they employ relatives mostly. The money from trust fund was mismanaged. People who were to benefit got nothing. People who refused forgery lost their jobs because they stood by the truth. The children of the CEO don't work, but they get salary. Children, relatives get more money than others through. Children relatives have, of course, lower qualifications and experience.
Well, I must say, I mean, like they said, someone said, the government is not accountable. It's not accountable for any of this. I mean, like he said, you have to make sure that at the end of the day, you live, you work, but then aim at doing something of your own. Definitely. Yeah, because, I mean, no one wants to see their relatives out there idle. I mean, why wouldn't I help out a family or member? But, of course, there has to be equality, and, of course, you have to be qualified for the job.
Absolutely.
Not necessarily because
is key and important.
Not because you are this and this, and of course these things are Interesting. Anyway, this is Rosebell Kangumire at Rosebell K. We are barely out of the pandemic stress, in the middle of the economic crisis, and everyone's mental health is pretty stretched. I hope these reports of workplace violence, intimidation, bullying, harassment, and toxic cultures are exposed in Uganda NGO exhibition is urgently addressed. And of course, we've seen these things happening, mostly to ladies, harassment, sexual harassment.
Absolutely.
And of course, for you to get a job, you have to give in something. Of course, there's someone made... this will be a talk of another day. And this is Toko at Godwin Toko, and it says, in the spirit of accountability, the next course of action on hashtag Uganda NGO exhibition is to come up with a list of NGOs that have featured most prominently in the wrong reasons, formally engage them first and their donors. From there, we will create a more permanent record.
Okay, that is in the spirit of accountability.
Wow.
I mean, with what is happening in there, we have no right to.
I mean, if everyone was to come out, this is Kemigisha, and she says, I have been thinking a lot about the NGO exhibition and all the ways online. Can I please? Yes. Yes, Kemigisha, and before the exhibition of potholes, health sector, and now NGOs, there was the hashtag Me Too Uganda, hashtag End Rape in Uganda, hashtag Women Lives Matters, and Justice for Samantha, and on and on.
Amazing.
Women are actually affected in this sector, mostly because they're vulnerable. Definitely, you want this, you want it, so they know you will give in anything for it.
Desperate.
So definitely, that's why we're calling in for broader thinking. Have a skill on your own. Not go through this struggle of you've given me the C, can I have the V now? So definitely, it's something. It's something.
Absolutely. This is at Ojo Kokot. It says if you're into or interested in NGO management in Uganda. Of course, then the ongoing Uganda NGO exhibition is your learning and reflection thread. That is for the week. Yes, of course, massive corruption is recorded in there. and we have no rights to hold the government accountable. Like somebody said, if we can see all that happening. Well, that is it for our social media trends. And now as we head into our business trend, or what we call the update 2, this time around is going to be on the top of the Sustainable Development Goals. That is 2023. Now, of course, just a brief about these goals is that these are universal standards that were adopted by the United Nations. That is in the year 2015. And the absolute intention is to eliminate poverty in various parts of the world. And also there is a goal that by 2030 the world should be living in absolute peace. Now the major goal is create peace into the world and eliminate poverty into the various aspects. Now into our discussion here, we see that there is a question of have Ugandans have they benefited from the SDGs, and talking about sensitizing people about PDM refund after 2 years. There is the aspect of use of government programs for middle income status. Now we have His Excellency Jessica Alupo, that is the Vice President of Uganda, into this discussion. Let's get into it real quick, and of course we shall be returning to wrap this up.
But secondly, also, the people still think that when they borrow this money, after 1 month, government will be asking them to pay in their parish circles. So a clarification still needs to be given to them that they can only pay this money, begin paying this money after 2 years, a maximum period of 2 years. And then they can even pay in installments until the 3rd year ends. Many in villages are not aware about that. Is to trigger the socio-economic transformation of society. We in Uganda and most parts of Africa have been struggling with the problem of the backward nature of our societies. This backwardness is on the account of preserving the subsistence modes of production. You cannot achieve the SDGs if the society remains backward. That is why we in the NRM talk of socio-economic transformation, which aims at triggering change from mainly peasant societies to middle-income, middle-class and skilled societies, like those in Europe and the United States of America. If a society does not evolve from the lower modes of social organization, it cannot develop and prosper. Parochial societies such as the hunter-gatherer societies and the peasant societies have narrow interests. All their efforts are geared towards getting food. They work only for food. They do not know about the importance of schools, hospitals, roads, electricity, the railway, markets, etc. Therefore, we must work to eliminate social backwardness, which is responsible for underdevelopment. Since 1986, the NRM government has been working towards expanding the monetization of the economy so that the whole society goes to the money economy to produce for the stomach and for the pocket.
Government is undertaking. In all the meetings, participants recognize that as a country and the world, we are confronted with a challenging reality. We are at the midpoint of the 2030 agenda, and yet some of the SDGs are off track. 7 years to go for us to go and register our success or failure at the global platform. But as the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has said, world leaders need to come together at the 2023 SDG Summit in September to deliver a rescue plan for people and the planet. In Uganda, the parish development model is our rescue plan. We recognize that while eradicating poverty is related to SDG 1. We also know that through the 7 pillars of the parish development model, we shall be able to target the several SDGs, moreover at household level.
Well, the parish development model being a rescue plan when it comes to achieving, that is the SDGs. Well, it's 5 minutes to 8:30. Let's get into the break right now. But of course, before we get in there, don't forget the markets on the Zerbo platform, which have already opened. They opened 10 minutes back. Yes, the markets open at exactly 8:15 a.m. and then they'll be closing at 3:15 p.m. East African time. This is effective Monday up to Friday, except on the weekends and the public holidays when these markets can't be accessed. But of course, despite the fact you have the rest of the days to capitalize and make yourself quite some huge profits, something which I believe is very profitable and key when it comes to your personal growth and development, most especially you as a trader out there. You better trade the stocks. All you need is a mobile phone and the start 92 hash, whether it's a button phone, whether it's a mobile, whether it's a smartphone, it will be in position to actually bail you out when it comes to buying government bond and securities. 15,000 only needed, but you can still choose to invest $1 million or and above. But Zabo simply says, well, bring 15,000, let's grow together. Now, Zabo says, buy money, my future. Dotex East Africa says, do something new. Now let's get into the break, and of course we shall be returning with the business and entertainment. Good morning.